I want you to close your eyes for a second if you can.
Yeah, assuming you aren't driving, of course.
Right, right. But just imagine the heat, the brutal, suffocating 103-degree heat of the West Texas desert. You are standing right out in the Llano Estacado.
Just completely exposed.
Exactly. The horizon is stretching out flat and white in absolutely every direction, and the silence is just heavy. It's absolute.
Until you hear the buzzards.
Yes, the only thing breaking that silence is the sound of buzzards circling overhead. Welcome to today's deep dive.
We have a really incredible stack of sources for you today.
We really do. We're looking at articles, research papers, and field notes, all centered around this modern Western thriller document called Badlands Heat.
And it is an incredibly intense body of material. I mean, this isn't just a survival story about enduring the harsh elements of the borderlands.
Not at all.
It is a meticulously detailed account of uncovering a massive, deeply entrenched corruption ring.
So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack this intense narrative. We want to uncover the mechanics of that massive border corruption ring and really explore the extreme psychological and physical lengths a person will go to for justice.
Because the lengths this guy goes to are just staggering.
Okay, let's unpack this. Our guide through this absolute nightmare is a man named Marcus Reid.
He's a drifter now, but his background is what really matters here.
Right, he is an ex-Border Patrol agent, and about 10 years ago he was dishonorably discharged. And the reason why is critical. He flat out refused to drop an investigation into the murder of his partner.
His partner, Boone.
Right, and as this constant physical reminder of that unsolved murder, Reid carries around a Mexican peso, but he's hammered it flat and cut it into the shape of a 5-pointed star.
Which is such a fascinating detail. That homemade badge tells you everything you need to know about Reid's psychological profile before the events even unfold.
Yeah, he's a guy carrying a serious grudge.
Exactly. He's a man who believes the bureaucracy failed him, and more importantly, it failed his partner.
Yeah.
He's literally carrying around a physical manifestation of that failure.
So when Reid is driving his beat-up Silverado through the desert and spots those buzzards circling a dry wash, his tracking instincts kick right back in.
He doesn't just keep driving.
No, he stops to investigate the anomaly. And what he finds in that dry wash is a full-on massacre.
6 men.
6 men executed and left for the buzzards. Now, these are cartel mules, right? Guys moving contraband across the border. But the way Reid reads this crime scene is what makes this so wild.
He reads the forensic footprint.
Right, he doesn't just see dead bodies. He notices the exit wounds in their chests and instantly deduces they were shot from an elevated distance.
So he climbs up to a nearby ridge.
And he finds exactly 37 brass casings left behind. And this is where the details change the entire narrative of the sources.
Yeah, this part is crazy.
Those casings are .308 Winchester ammunition, stamped Lake City Arsenal 2024 production.
What's fascinating here is the immediate shift in the threat assessment. Lake City Arsenal is a primary supplier of ammunition for the United States military.
And federal law enforcement.
Exactly.
Any amateur can pull a trigger, but 37 casings, 6 targets, 150 yards out, resulting in a 100% hit rate.
That is not disorganized cartel violence.
No way. That is a highly coordinated, disciplined tactical squad. A government hit squad operating on domestic soil. And down in the wash, the backpacks these mules were carrying are still just sitting there untouched.
Which tells you it wasn't a robbery.
Right. So Reid makes a decision that basically sets the entire chain of events in motion. He takes the evidence.
And it is a lot of evidence.
We're talking $200,000 in cash, 10 kilos of cocaine stamped with a red scorpion logo, a military-grade satellite phone, and a hand-drawn map pointing to a 2 a.m. rendezvous at a place called Twin Peaks.
We really need to analyze the psychology behind Reid's decision to take those items. You have to remember, Reid isn't a thief looking for a quick payday so he can retire on a beach somewhere.
Definitely not.
He is a trained investigator who was excommunicated from a broken system, and suddenly, he holds the ultimate leverage to expose it.
Yeah, he takes that contraband, not just for his own survival, but because it acts as undeniable physical proof of federal corruption.
He takes it to finish the job he started 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly dangerous, calculated risk.
And taking that evidence puts a massive target on his back. Which brings us to the individuals hunting Reid. And they are terrifying in how casually corrupt they operate.
This is completely brazen.
First, we have Captain Dean Hatcher. He is the leader of this corrupt Border Patrol tactical unit. The man literally drinks warm Jim Beam from a flask while on duty.
And his justifications are wild.
Yeah, he mentally justifies executing these cartel mules because the stolen drug money pays for everyday middle-class expenses, like his daughter's college tuition.
Hatcher represents the tactical executioner, the muscle on the ground.
Hmm.
But the architect of this entire operation is Colonel Wade Vance.
Such a great villain.
Right. Vance is a wealthy, powerful rancher who owns the Double V Ranch. This thing spans 200,000 acres of Texas desert.
Massive.
And he sits on his sprawling porch drinking $8 imported Meyer lemonade while orchestrating a vast criminal empire.
You're dealing with a next-level sociopath when they're funding a hit squad, and their biggest daily concern is making sure the citrus notes in their imported lemonade are perfectly balanced.
It's a stark contrast that really highlights the hierarchy of this conspiracy. You have Hatcher sweating in the dirt, doing the wet work, while Vance is insulated by wealth and geography, just pulling the strings from above.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The whole arrangement between them is this perfectly designed ecosystem of corruption.
It's terrifyingly efficient.
Vance supplies military-grade AR-15 rifles to a specific group of cartel scouts known as the Mimbres. And in exchange for these heavy weapons, the cartel scouts act as Vance's personal intimidation force.
They clear out innocent homesteaders from adjacent land.
Right, land that Vance wants to absorb into his massive ranch. Meanwhile, Captain Hatcher and his federal tactical team act as Vance's border security.
So whenever rival cartel mules try to cross through Vance's territory, Hatcher's team eliminates them.
They eliminate them, confiscate the cash, and keep the territory secure for Vance's partners.
It is a closed loop. The weapons pay for the land, the federal agents protect the territory, and the cartel eliminates the local resistance.
It's wild to think about.
Think about the bureaucratic systems you interact with daily. How easily could a few bad actors at the top insulate themselves if they control both the problem and the solution?
It's a scary thought. And Reid actually uncovers the mechanics of this by brazenly driving right up to Vance's ranch.
Under the guise of being a lost drifter.
Exactly. And while he's conducting this impromptu reconnaissance, he spots empty military rifle crates stacked by the barn, and he watches those cartel scouts driving off Vance's property carrying fresh scalps hanging from their rearview mirrors.
It's a chilling confirmation. He knows exactly what he's up against now, a fully funded, heavily armed alliance between a cartel and the federal government.
But knowing the scope of the conspiracy is one thing, surviving it is an entirely different reality.
Because Hatcher's team is good.
Yeah, they quickly realize someone took their loot from the wash and they track Reid down. This kicks off a brutal high-speed chase into the volcanic lava fields.
Oh, this sequence is intense.
Reid is in his beat-up truck, being hunted by 5 black federal Suburbans. To buy himself a tactical window, Reid uses a precision shot to blow out a tire on the lead Suburban.
A tire that cost the taxpayers $400, by the way.
Exactly. He then abandons his truck and flees on foot into these jagged black rock fields. And the ambient temperature out there is pushing 120 degrees.
The physical toll of this environment cannot be overstated. We are talking about sharp volcanic rock that shreds footwear, a total absence of shade or water, and the imminent threat of heat stroke.
But amidst this grueling physical struggle, we see this brilliant moment of psychological manipulation.
With the rookie.
Right, Reid manages to ambush one of the agents hunting him, a rookie named Mills who is just fresh out of the academy. Reid holds Mills at gunpoint, but instead of neutralizing the threat, he unloads the kid's rifle, hands it back, and lets him walk away.
He tells Mills that he can go home and still have a soul.
Sparing Mills isn't just a random act of mercy. It is a massive, calculated tactical risk. Reid is betting his own life that the rookie's conscience will outweigh his federal training.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is a master class in asymmetrical warfare. Reid is completely outnumbered and outgunned.
He knows mathematically he cannot kill his way out of a confrontation against 9 heavily armed federal agents.
So he pivots. He plants a seed of conscience in the enemy ranks. He targets the weakest psychological link, the rookie who hasn't fully acclimatized to the corruption yet. He weaponizes morality.
Unfortunately, that psychological warfare doesn't prevent Reid from getting captured shortly after. Hatcher's men eventually surround him in the rocks.
And the torture they put him through is a grueling study in human endurance.
It's hard to even read about. They secure his hands behind his back with industrial plastic flex cuffs. Then they attach a steel chain from his cuffs to the bumper of a Suburban and force him to walk barefoot across the sharp volcanic rock
They drag him at a grueling pace.
until the soles of his feet are completely flayed down to the bone.
The brutality is designed to break him both physically and psychologically,
Mm-hmm.
but it also sets the stage for Reid to demonstrate an unbelievable, almost terrifying will to survive.
Yeah, when the tactical team finally stops to establish a camp for the night, they leave Reid sitting bound in the dirt. Over the course of several agonizing hours, Reid secretly uses his own body weight to stretch the plastic flex cuffs behind his back.
And the guard on duty happens to be Mills.
Crucially, yes. So when Mills starts falling asleep, Reid manages to contort his shoulders, slipping his cuffed hands under his legs and bringing them to his front.
And then he just goes for it.
He literally gnashes his teeth into the strained plastic, tearing up his own mouth to buy his freedom.
The raw jaw strength and sheer desperation required to chew through industrial zip ties is staggering.
But he doesn't just flee into the night to hide. Reid intentionally allows himself to be recaptured later on the highway.
Which seems insane at first.
Right. Why on earth would a man with shredded feet willingly go back to his torturers? Because he needs critical intelligence. He needs to eavesdrop on Hatcher's communications to pinpoint exactly when the massive weapon delivery to the cartel is taking place.
Exactly. He turns his own capture into an intelligence-gathering operation. He learns they have moved the delivery timetable up to that very day.
But getting captured again means subjecting himself to more enhanced interrogation.
Hatcher has his men waterboard Reid in a filthy truck stop bathroom,
To try and extract the location of the stolen cash.
and then they transport him back to the Alpine Border Patrol station and throw him in a holding cell.
But Reid proves that a trained operative can weaponize any environment. He pries off a heavy ceramic toilet tank lid inside the cell.
Such a smart move.
When a guard eventually opens the door, Reid strikes him in the face with the heavy ceramic, secures his keys, commandeers a jeep from the motor pool, and accelerates straight through the station's chain-link perimeter fence.
In a hail of suppressing fire, no less.
The sheer momentum of this sequence is incredible. But it all leads to a highly strategic, fiery climax. Reid knows the weapons delivery is happening in the town of Pecos, but Hatcher has an entire tactical team actively hunting him.
Complete with tracking dogs.
Reid realizes he cannot simply sneak into Pecos. He needs a massive, undeniable distraction. So he navigates to the Brennan Ranch.
Which is one of the civilian homesteads Vance is actively trying to clear out.
He warns the family, Jake and Sarah Brennan, that the cartel scouts are inbound.
And this is where Reid makes a profound tactical sacrifice.
He really does.
To buy the Brennan family the necessary time to pack up their children and flee in their truck, Reid remains behind to fortify the property. He utilizes a vintage .30-30 Winchester and a standard shotgun to single-handedly suppress an advance force of 16 heavily armed operatives.
But suppressing fire isn't enough of a distraction. He goes one step further. He deliberately pours gasoline across the Brennans' wooden porch and sets the structure ablaze himself.
He destroys their entire livelihood.
Their home, just to save their lives.
Precisely. The resulting structure fire creates a massive thermal and visual signature. It draws all of Hatcher's resources, the local fire department, and emergency services right to that specific grid coordinate,
It completely occupies the enemy force,
creating a vacuum in their operational security.
which gives Reid the narrow opening he needs to deal with the delivery in Pecos. Now, throughout this ordeal, Reid has actually brokered a fragile alliance with a cartel buyer named Casper.
Reid's grand plan is pretty straightforward here.
Casper will ambush the delivery at an abandoned grain elevator, secure the 50 government AR-15s, and then Reid will utilize those rifles as the undeniable physical proof needed to dismantle Vance and Hatcher's empire.
But here is the massive systemic twist. Casper operates on a completely different set of survival mechanics.
Yeah, he does not want to take possession of 50 stolen federal weapons.
In the cartel world, holding that kind of heat is a death sentence.
So when the delivery occurs at the grain elevator, Casper utilizes shaped charges to detonate the box trucks containing the weapons.
The explosion is catastrophic.
The 50 AR-15s, the transport vehicles, the physical evidence, it is all completely incinerated.
On.
I remember reviewing these notes and thinking, man, he lost. Reid went through all of that. His feet are destroyed. He's dying of systemic infection. And the very evidence he sacrificed everything for is just gone.
But then comes the ultimate paradigm shift.
Reid's burner phone buzzes. Casper sends him a text message. Casper didn't just detonate the trucks. Prior to the explosion, Casper concealed himself in the shadows and recorded a high-definition video on his smartphone.
And the footage clearly depicts Captain Hatcher shaking hands with the cartel buyers right next to the open crates of federal weapons.
It's a brilliant tactical pivot by Casper. He neutralized the physical liability of the weapons, but successfully captured the digital proof of the conspiracy.
He understood what the real weapon was.
I want you to really think about that for a second. Imagine pushing your body to the absolute brink, enduring waterboarding, running across the desert on bloody stumps where your feet used to be,
Fighting off an entire tactical team.
burning down a house, only to watch your physical evidence completely vaporize. And the entire mission, the justice for your murdered partner, is ultimately saved by an MP4 file sent by a cartel operative over a cellular network.
It's incredible.
It forces you to realize that in the modern world, information, specifically digital information, is the ultimate undeniable weapon. A crate of guns can be burned. A video uploaded to the cloud is forever.
And Reid, drawing on his investigative background, knows exactly how to wield that digital weapon. He drags himself to a local coffee shop offering free Wi-Fi.
He immediately uploads the video to multiple decentralized cloud servers.
And emails it directly to the FBI field office, the Department of Justice, and 4 major news syndicates.
He details the entire mechanical structure of the conspiracy in the body of the email. And as soon as he verifies the transmission is complete, his body finally shuts down.
He collapses on the pavement in Pecos, succumbing to bone-deep infections and severe sepsis.
But the digital footprint does its job. The fallout is swift, total, and completely bypasses local corruption. The FBI swoops in. Captain Hatcher is sitting in his office the next morning when he sees his own face broadcasting on CNN.
His career evaporates on national television.
Colonel Vance attempts to flee the country to Costa Rica, but federal agents lock down the interstate highways with roadblocks and box his convoy in with black helicopters.
In total, a staggering 67 individuals are indicted.
The investigation completely exposes this massive interconnected web of paid-off sheriffs, local police, and federal agents.
This raises an important question, though, regarding the legal and moral complexity of how this entire situation resolves. The justice system does not operate on pure cinematic heroism.
No, it operates on plea deals and statutes.
Remember Mills, the rookie agent.
Right, the kid Reid spared in the lava fields.
Yes. Mills actually redeems himself. During a final confrontation in the desert, Mills turns his weapon on a corrupt fellow agent to save Reid's life.
He pays it back.
He does. He then cooperates fully with the federal prosecutors, agreeing to testify against Hatcher in exchange for immunity. Because of that testimony and the video, Hatcher and Vance both receive life sentences without the possibility of parole.
But Reid is not granted a magical pardon by the justice system.
Not at all.
So, what does this all mean? It means the law is rigid, even for the whistleblowers. Reid still has to face the music for his tactical choices.
He did steal federal evidence.
He was in possession of 10 kilos of cocaine, regardless of his intent. He did assault a federal officer, escape custody, and destroy government property.
Reid is forced to plead guilty to those specific charges.
And he accepts a 2-year sentence in a federal penitentiary. He takes the plea deal specifically to solidify the prosecution's case against Vance and Hatcher, removing any chance for a lengthy, messy trial.
He accepts the 2 years of incarceration, and he accepts the harsh medical reality that he will walk with a permanent, painful limp for the rest of his life.
Because in the end, he finally fulfilled his oath to his murdered partner, Boone. The system ultimately worked, but it demanded an incredibly heavy, permanent personal price from the man who forced it to course correct.
It is a profoundly sobering conclusion. We followed Marcus Reid from a silent, sun-baked dry wash filled with executed men, through an agonizing physical and mental gauntlet, all the way to the complete dismantling of a massive 67-person corruption ring.
His relentless determination shattered the conspiracy.
But the friction of that process permanently scarred him. It's a reminder that exposing the truth is rarely a clean operation.
It is an absolute masterclass in survival and consequence. And as we wrap up this deep dive into Badlands Heat, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over.
It's a big one.
We just watched a man risk his life over physical crates of rifles, only to be saved by a digital video. It leaves you wondering, As digital surveillance and cryptocurrency become completely ubiquitous, will massive physical corruption rings like Hatcher's even be possible in 10 years?
Or will the cartels and corrupt officials just move entirely into the digital shadows?
Where a smoking gun isn't a crate of weapons in the desert, but a line of code that can be deleted in a millisecond. Thank you so much for joining us on this custom deep dive. We'll catch you next time.